And the Golden Globe is awarded to Michaela Jaé Rodriguez. Host.
Michaela Jaé.
Yes, ma'am.
Describe that moment when you learned you had won the Golden Globe.
Okay, so first, I literally just there was, if you hear the terminology gagging in the ballroom scene, that's exactly what I did. I gagged in the best way possible. I was so excited. I remember being on my computer and just dropping my mouse and hitting my leg and just screaming in pure joy. My boyfriend hugged me. It was so surreal because it's never happened before. And you never think in a million years a girl like myself would get an opportunity or get even a moment like that. And when it happened, I was just like, wow, I feel like I finally arrived. I feel like I'm finally here.
It is history making.
Yes.
So were you immediately aware of that, or did that sink in a little later?
I was not aware of it being history making in the beginning. I was so flustered with all of the things that had been happening with the weeks before. When that happened, I just was kind of in this weird numb space. 2 weeks ago, that's when I just let it settle in and it officially hit me, which, sometimes people take time. I take a long time, but yeah, it was so much excitement. I couldn't even process it. I couldn't even fathom that this was an opportunity that it presented itself to me. And I'm just really? Wow. I'm still always in that moment though, but it humbles me. It humbles me, and it makes me feel good to know that, change is on the way, and it's always been on the way.
What has changed in your career since then? I mean, you're now Times Woman of the Year.
Oh my God. Well, that is one of them. Being Times Woman of the Year was just a beautiful honor. Just being in a lineup of all those women, Kerry Washington, and beautiful activists, and myself. It's just, it feels like you take a centerfold, you take stage, and you're there, and people see you. But a lot of things has happened. I've started my music, and amazing opportunities with music has come along. A lot of acting opportunities that I never thought would be presented to me are now coming along. Leading roles too that I never even thought I was qualified for, and now people are saying that I'm qualified for.
Has this kind of success carried into your life, aside from acting, too? You're a fashion icon. You wear that before, but now it's even more so. How did your community react to it as well?
I think my community reacted to it, and just with obviously loving and open arms from the LGBTQAI community, of course. They are always rooting for me. It's always a tremendous feat when you see one of your own really making it and making a way for your community. Well, there's disproportionate deaths all over the place, all over the world when it comes to trans individuals, especially trans women. And I think that's the most important thing when it comes to visibility, is knowing that our lives are being taken away from us, but not by ourselves, which we don't want either. We don't want anyone unaliving themselves, but we don't even have the rights over our bodies. Someone else is taking the rights away from us by taking our lives. And I think that's the key component here. Our existence on this earth is just like anyone else's, and we deserve to live just like anyone else. So I would say that's one of the biggest problems, is our lives being taken away from us, and also us not being taken seriously. Because of the stigmas, because of the so many different kinds of stories that people create around us and how they think we're supposed to be. But I think that's being released. There's still more work to do, but it's got to happen somehow, and I think it takes moments like these.
Are you getting approached on the street? Do people recognize you?
Oh yeah. It's much more than I've expected before, and I love it because I'm always giving hugs, I'm always having conversations with them, but they notice me through my mask now, and I'm just like, oh wow, so even with a little bald head and no mask, with a mask you still see me. That makes me feel really good. That makes me feel comfortable, and knowing that they actually know me.
This is a very brave new haircut.
Yes.
I was wondering if that was a reaction maybe to the fame, where you kind of feel free now and
Yes.
you can do whatever you want.
Yes, it was all of those things encompassed in one. I mean, I had been dealing with, femininity and how I uphold femininity, and, how people see me when I have my hair on my head, and how I also hide behind my femininity within my hair. And then it came to a point where I was just like, it doesn't matter if there's hair on my head or not. I'm still the being I am. I'm still the woman I am today. I'm still the person who walks and talks and lives and breathes as I've always been. So I was just like, let's try something new. And also, as women, we hold a lot in our hair, and I was just like, let's release it and have some new growth back.
Did anybody from the white community come up to you and react to the fact that maybe you have opened their eyes, our eyes as well?
Yes, I mean, I've had so many people from many different demographics, many walks of life come up to me, but yes, people from the white community have definitely come to me. I went to Sedona to look at houses, and I never thought in a million years someone from Sedona would notice me on a show. And this woman, Caucasian, came up to me and she just said, I love you, and what you're doing for the community is beautiful. And I looked at my broker at the time and I was just like, I can't believe she knows who I am. And he was like, oh yeah, people know you. And I was like, what? So yes, in short, yes.
Any crazy stories in that respect?
Well, I will say there have been moments where someone has grabbed me out of nowhere, and I don't get jarred by stuff like that. Usually as it's out of love, I just get a little startled, and I look, I'm like, oh my God. And it's an immense amount of excitement. They want to hug you, they want to embrace you. And listen, sometimes we all need a hug, and I love hugs, so I just give it right back.
Let's go back for a minute into you play Angel in Rent on Broadway. Mm-hmm. What's going on in this young person's mind at that point, and could she have imagined in her wildest dreams what is happening now and what has come to pass?
I don't think she even knew where her trajectory was going. I think she just was on this path that she was following and wandering to. And I think Angel was the only place at that point in her life where she really could reconcile with herself and let people see who she was on a stage. Behind the scenes, many people knew about me, but not the world, you know what I mean? And I feel like through a show like that, a lot of people got to see who Michaela was. And now I feel like she would be looking up at the television screen now and being like, well, girl, now everyone sees you. And there's nothing that they can say, and there's nothing that you're hiding anymore. People know you as the trans woman you are.
Who was the Michaela then versus the Michaela now? What have you preserved from that time and what have you let go of?
Okay, so the things that I've learned from then and now, I would say, is my innocence. I try to keep a piece of my innocence with me because that's what keeps you thriving, that's what keeps you youthful, that's what keeps you fun. And I will never let that be released from me. If you don't have a small piece of innocence in you, then I feel like, it's just like, a little deadpan. And I don't want to be deadpan. I want to be as light and as joyful and as exuberant as I can be. One thing that I would leave behind are the people who said I couldn't do what I could do and who said that I wouldn't make it. You guys can stay where you are. I'm going to keep excelling.
A very famous actor once told me that when you make it, you get 1 year where you can just go like,
yeah,
look at me now.
Yes.
And then you let go of that too and just enjoy it. But you get that 1 year where this, German word Schadenfreude,
yes,
comes in a little bit.
Yes. I will say this year alone, winning a Golden Globe literally 2 days after my birthday, I feel like this was the start and it's going to be a wonderful year. And this is that year where I can say, look at where I've come. Look at what the hard work, right? Like, look at where the hard work has paid off. And the people that I've known, the people that I've met, the people that I love that are lifting me up, that's where a lot of my rootedness stands. And who knows? I mean, the year where Schadenfreude happens, we shall see when that comes, and I will deal with it head on,
Favorite movie growing up?
Oh my God. I would say my favorite movie growing up was Tom and Jerry. Whoa, Tom and Jerry. Big old kid. Sorry, y'all.
Favorite TV series?
Favorite TV series. There's a lot of them, but I was very adamant in watching Will and Grace.
Performer or actor who inspired you?
Oh, that's a hard question. Performer or actor, Kerry Washington, one of my favorite performers. She delves in like nobody's business, and my favorite performer is none other than Beyonce Knowles. We love you, Beyonce.
Activist or activists who inspired you?
I would say my favorite activist, I prided myself on Maya Angelou even though we all know her as a poet, she was also an activist and fighting for women's rights and also fighting for, sex workers back in the day, being that she was one and she superseded and excelled. She was somebody who just spoke to me. And also, I understood her plight because a lot of girls in my community go through that.
What's typical New Jersey about you?
Oh, my accent, honey. My accent is there. It's not going nowhere. And I love it. So yeah, it's the Jersey girl in me. Can't stop it.